What is up, you guys? It's your girl Nicole from the D, aka Cole. Excuse the baby, you may hear him in the background. I do not get a babysitter for my videos, so today we're going to be doing something very simple, very classic, something that a lot of people do not know how to make from scratch. They always go and buy them frozen, and I don't like frozen food. So today we're going to make a classic meatball with gravy. Very simple. I've actually already seasoned my meat and put all my ingredients, my chopped onion and my chopped pepper, in my bowl. But I am going to show you guys the seasonings that I use. Basically Italian seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, nature seasoning, a little salt and pepper. That's always, you'll always see me cooking with salt and pepper because all those will always add. Those are the simplest seasonings that will add the most flavor, little do you know, especially when you put them together. 4 eggs, Italian seasoning, Italian breadcrumbs, and I believe that's it, but I'm going to show you. Okay, you guys, so these are the ingredients that I use. Italian breadcrumbs, doesn't matter the brand, they work regardless. Garlic powder, onion powder, nature seasoning, green. I usually do a green and red pepper, but I found these cool peppers that are actually both. Looks like it's still a little orange in there too, so I'm sure those are very flavorful. I used onion as well. The only thing that you don't see in this picture is my 4 eggs that I've already cracked, which I'm going to show you in a second. Everything that's in my bowl. And you don't see salt and pepper. Those are the only things that you don't see here. But this is very basic, you guys. Very easy to make a simple meatball. Okay, you guys. So as you can see, my meat, I actually, before I even put my peppers and my onions and my eggs in my meat, I actually season my meat very well, very heavily. Not salty, but I seasoned it heavily. Okay, you guys. Sorry about that. I had to go and get my very simple but important ingredient. So I'm going to put my gloves on. I'm going to mix this up really good with just a little bit of the Sweet Baby Ray. Let me actually add the Sweet Baby Ray so you can see how much it needs. This is 5 pounds of burger, mind you guys. So it looks like about maybe probably a tablespoon and a half. So I'm going to put my gloves on. I'm going to mix this up really good, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I got all my meat mixed up. This is, I'm not making these meatballs for home. I'm actually making them for an actual catering event. So I'm going to make them a little bit smaller, because when you are cooking them, well, this may look a little bit big, but when you cook them down, some of that fat is gonna burn down off of the ball. So you basically would like to make them a little bit bigger than what you want them to turn out to be. And this is my finished product for mine. They look delicious, don't they? So what I'm going to do next is finish balling these out, and then I'll be back with my skillet and my oil ready to make our meatballs with gravy. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished product. I did not count the freaking meatballs, but I'm going to count them before or while I'm cooking them. So let me get my pan together and my oil. I use olive oil, and I also use either canola or vegetable oil. I'm going to get those together, get my pan nice and hot, and then I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, you guys, so I'm back. My skillet is like really, really hot. I have my meatballs sitting there ready to be placed right into the big skillet. And when you're cooking meatballs, this is a huge tip that I learned from, I don't even know who I learned it from, actually, probably Rachel Ray. But one tip that I learned is meatballs cook better when they're very close together. You don't want to cook them in a huge pot if you don't need it. You know, you can use a very small pot and you'll be fine with that. Okay, so this is the olive oil that I'm using. Just gonna put a little bit of that Well, probably a lot of that. Looks like a lot of that, but it's not really a lot. And then I've got some canola oil that I'm using. And just mind you guys, let you know, all my videos won't be like this. I'm working on getting my equipment set up. I don't know what that is floating in there. I'm working on getting my equipment set up now so that the quality will be better and that you'll actually be able to see me cook. So now that my skillet, my oil is hot, I don't know if you can see it, but it's moving around nicely, so that's how you know it's hot. Okay, so we turn our temperature down to a medium-low heat, so that the temperature of that oil can come down just a little bit, because we don't want to burn ourselves when we put these meatballs in this oil, y'all. So turn it down just a little bit at this point, and we're gonna let it cool down just a little, and then in a second we're gonna start putting them in. Okay, guys, normally I do wear gloves because I don't like touching raw meat, but my hands are very clean. We're just gonna place all of these in here really quickly. I may actually be able to fit all of these in here. Like I said, you want them together as much as possible, because that's how they cook better. Like little siblings. You want them to grow up close. I know that's a crazy analogy, but okay, so we're gonna finish. Okay, so they are cooking on like a medium to high heat. Now that I put them in here, the temperature, of course, is gonna come down. So just bring them back up to a medium high heat. If you were working with a stove from like low to high with numbers 1 through 9 in between, you would want it on like a 7. I had some meatballs left over, so I do have to get another small skillet, very, very small skillet for those. So I'll be right back to show you those, and then I'm gonna flip these in the big pot as well when I come back, and then we're gonna get started on our gravy. And mind you, the oven should already be on 350, because once we're just really browning these meatballs with the oil and I usually put a little butter in there as well. We're just really browning them, and then they're gonna get juicy and finish fully cooking on the inside once you put them in the oven, but we'll get there at some point. Okay, you guys, so I found a small skillet for the rest of my meatballs. As you see, they're kissing each other as well. They are very, very close. A few tips when you're cooking meatballs: you do not want to move your meatballs. You want them to cook just like you're cooking a burger. You don't keep flipping your burger over and over again. You flip it, I flip my burgers 2, maybe 3 times. So you want them to cook, you know what I mean, before you actually start trying to move it, because it will fall apart on you. So these are about ready, as you can see. So you'll just start turning them slowly but surely, turning them, getting them to where they can brown on each side. Slowly but surely. And you may say I have she has a lot of freaking oil in there. It's too much oil, but no, I'm making a lot of gravy. My customer actually requested a lot of gravy, so this is how I make my gravy. Is gonna automatically have the flavors and everything from my meat. I'm just gonna add my flour and my water once they cook in the oven a little bit. But as you can see, they are forming very, very well. So at this point, I'm gonna finish flipping these, and we're gonna wait until that small skillet gets to this point where these are, and we're gonna get those flipped, and then I'll be back with you so that you can we can pop them in the oven. Okay. Now that one fell apart, but he looks so good on the inside. Look at him. Ooh, Lord. Okay, so I got those babies all flipped. They're almost done. They're about 3/4 of the way done. Once they firm up on the other side, I'll be able to take them out and put them in my aluminum pan. Once I put them in my aluminum pan, we'll then transfer them over to the oven. My other pan is about ready to be flipped. Yeah, you see that? That lets you know that brownness and when they're not falling apart. And the thing that keeps meatballs together, I'm not sure if you know, if you're a cook, you should know this, but the egg is what actually holds it together. That's what holds just about anything together. That's why eggs are called for usually in a recipe. So you want to make sure you're using enough. Like, I probably should have used 5 eggs because I used 5 pounds of ground beef. But I don't like an eggy type of food. Like, I don't want my food tasting like egg. Okay, so I'm not going to use as much egg. I'm going to try to use as least as possible with knowing that they're not going to fall apart on me. And even if they do fall apart a little bit, it's okay. You still have your form of a meatball. So I'm going to let these cook a little bit longer before I mess with those. Yeah. So give me a few more minutes. What we're going to do with this is we're going to turn them down because they're getting up there now. See, they're very firm now. Very firm. Nice and firm. You can roll them around your pan and they won't fall apart at this point. So you can actually just turn them down on low so they can get nice and juicy and soak up all that juice. So that before you take them out of here, because I'm going to take them out of the juices so that I can make my gravy right here in this same pan so that I can save all of that savory juiciness. But I'm going to wait until my small pan gets done before I make my flour because I want to use the juices from that as well in this big skillet. So give me a few more minutes. Well, it's a few minutes for me, but you guys have the luxury of getting the edited version. So see you in a sec. Okay, you guys, so my meatballs are done. Just so that you can see at least like one of them, because they look like they are. Just so that you can see one, there's one right there. Nice, beautiful, juicy meatball. So I'll put them in my aluminum pan at this point. Okay, so now what I have to do is bring my, one second. Okay, so I've transferred all my oils together from my small pot to my big pot, and now it looks a little nasty, but it's not, you guys. It's all the good, that's good juiciness in there, good flavor. I'm going to let this get really hot. I have it on high heat. Once it gets really hot, I'm going to add my flour and my water. Oh, look at it. It's getting there really quickly. I'm going to add my flour. So let me get my cup, about a cup of flour. And then I'm going to have my water sitting right there ready. And then we're going to make this roux really quickly. Okay, so this is about how you want your fire, your grease to get, how hot you want it to get. You want it to be really, really hot to take that flour in and make that roux as quickly as possible so that it won't overcook it, because you already have some brown oil, so you don't want to burn your gravy. And this is actually a tutorial, 2 tutorials in one. It's actually teaching you how to make meatballs, but it's also teaching you how to make another classic, which is gravy, which can be very difficult to make. So pay close attention. Okay, so just to let you guys know, I salt everything. Like, I salted my oil, and then once I get this down, I'm gonna salt that as well. I'm gonna show you guys real quick how to make this. It's so easy, you guys. It's so freaking easy. I don't know how many of you guys make roux for like your mac and cheese with flour. I don't, but I know I've heard of some people who do. And this is a great way of comparing it to any roux. Like, you have to add flour, you know it's going to thicken up, so you can't, you don't want it to be too high. I'm going to add a little bit more flour, actually, because it's not thickening the way I want it to. So that's probably about 3 cups of flour, but that's only because I'm cooking so much for so many people. So that is why I'm adding so much, you know, why it looks to be so much for me. But it shouldn't be for you. You should have a very small portion of oil and flour, depending on how many pounds you're doing. So I'm going to let this cook a little bit more. I'm going to put in some salt, some pepper, some nature seasoning. Nature seasoning is my favorite. I'm going to let this cook down some. Kind of want to put a little bit more flour. You'll know, but how thick it should be and what you want it to be after a few tries. I've been cooking gravy for a long time, so it's really nothing to me. So yeah, I'm going to let that cook some, probably for about 3 minutes on high, and then I'll be back with you guys. Okay, you guys, you're going to be so mad at me, but I was crunched for time, and I had to get my food where it was going. So I was not able to finish the video. You guys don't know how hard it is doing these videos. You have to really put the time into perspective. You have to put your ingredients, and I mean, you can't forget anything. So just to give you a little synopsis from when I left off and what you would need to do from that point is I let my gravy cook for another about 3 minutes. I ended up adding a little bit more flour because I wanted it to be a little bit thicker. I turned it down on low, and then that's when you let your roux get a little thicker, so when you'll be able to add your water. So I put it on low, let it simmer just a little bit, and then I added my water to it, stirred it up really good, and then at that point I let it simmer, seasoned it to taste, and put it in a separate container. My meatballs, while I was making my gravy, they were already cooking in the oven, just finished cooking, you know, the inside of them, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So, I hope I didn't disappoint you guys. You got the idea of how to make a simple meatball from scratch. Please don't buy another meatball out the freezer section at the grocery store. And that is the point in this channel. Just to let you know, the channel is to bring home cooked food to you guys and show you guys how to make it. And also going out into the city of Detroit and other cities that I may visit, to see who has really good food out here. You know, I mean, it's easy to always stop at a Wendy's or a McDonald's, but sometimes we have other good food out here that we can get just as quick as a McDonald's. Good hearty food with good fresh ingredients. So, again, my name is Nicole, with Amore Food. I am the owner and creator of Amore Food, a catering company. And you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram. We're working on getting the website back up. It's www.amoreafood.com. But, of course, on YouTube, not on Snapchat, but YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube because I'm so excited. To launch my YouTube channel as well, I will be having a pop-up at the Village Hair and Barber Salon on Sweetest Day, October the 19th, 2019. But I'm going to be creating a flyer to send out for that. So you guys will get that information posted on YouTube as well as Facebook and Instagram. So I want to thank you for taking your time and giving me your love while watching me cook. I really enjoy this. It's a huge passion of mine. So I hope you enjoy it. And in the future videos to come as well. There's a lot to come. So